Close your eyes for a second. If I say ancient Arabia, what do you see? Probably endless seas of golden sand, right? Maybe fierce nomadic tribes wandering the dunes. Well, what if I told you that in one specific corner of this world, there was a civilization so incredibly wealthy, with engineering so sophisticated it rivaled the greatest empires of antiquity? Let's jump right into this explainer, episode 4 of our series based on Philip K. Hitti's History of the Arabs, and uncover the secrets of the merchant kings of South Arabia. Because the truth is, while northern Arabia wandered with the desert, the South built kingdoms. We're talking massive cities of trade, literal empires built on incense, staggering fortunes born directly from the sea. We are looking at a magnificent civilization that has, quite frankly, just been swallowed by the sands of time. So today, we're going to rediscover exactly how trade, engineering, and pure maritime power transformed this region into one of the absolute richest places on Earth.
Section 1. The Civilized Spiceland.
Okay, so think about the geography of the southwestern corner of the peninsula, specifically El Yemen and Hadramawai. This area was like a geographical jackpot. It was uniquely favored by seasonal rains, totally isolated by vast, brutal deserts to the north, and hugged by the sea to the south and west. And that isolation, it provided the absolute perfect incubator. This wasn't just a place where you merely survived. No, this was a place where a highly sophisticated, permanently settled civilization could put down real, deep roots. And this geographic divide, it created a massive cultural contrast. Up in the north, you had the Bedouin, nomadic tribes locked in a constant, wandering battle to survive the arid environment. But down south, the Sabaeans, the Minaeans, the Himyarites, they stayed put. They were rooted. They carved stone, they engineered massive agricultural terraces into the mountainsides, and they built these bustling, wealthy coastal cities. It was a society completely anchored by architecture and agriculture. So you might be wondering, what exactly were they growing that made them so incredibly rich? Two things, frankincense and myrrh. The region of Hadramaut was literally the absolute epicenter for these precious resins. Now, today, we might just think of them as, nice-smelling candles or essential oils, but in the ancient world, they were absolutely essential. You needed them for temple rituals, for embalming the dead. Everyone wanted them. And the South Arabians, they held a global monopoly on this stuff, effectively turning their home into the celebrated spice land of antiquity.
Section 2. Lords of the Trade.
Now, having the ultimate luxury product is one thing, right? But the Sabaeans were essentially the Phoenicians of the Southern Sea. They didn't just export their own incense. No, they became the ultimate middlemen of the ancient world. By completely mastering the treacherous, shifting monsoon winds of the Indian Ocean, they were able to bring in silk and exotic spices from India, combine those goods with their own native frankincense, and then funnel the whole shebang right up through the Red Sea to Egypt and Rome. They essentially controlled the entire choke point of global luxury. And let me tell you that the Romans were furious about this. Because Rome didn't really produce anything the Arabians actually wanted, so they had to pay for all these spices in hard currency. We're talking cold, hard gold and silver. The Roman historian Pliny even noted that citizens were openly complaining about the outrageously high prices exacted by the South Arabian traders. These merchants were just methodically draining the treasury of the mighty Roman Empire, all while guarding the secrets of their trade routes with absolute deadly secrecy. And we actually have the tangible archaeological proof of that massive wealth today. Take a look at the Athenian owl stamped right onto this Himyarite silver coin. It makes you wonder, right? Why on earth would a South Arabian kingdom use a Greek symbol? Well, it's because their trade network was so incredibly integrated with the Mediterranean that they literally minted their own coins, mimicking the most recognized international currency of the day. It's like finding a modern dollar bill printed in ancient Yemen.
Section 3. Engineering a Desert Oasis.
3,900 feet above the sea. That was the staggering elevation of Marib, the spectacular capital of the Sabaean kingdom. This wasn't just a regular city. It was this massive, bustling nexus where all those ancient trade routes collided. But here's the catch. A city of that sheer size, perched high up in a dry environment, needs water. I mean, tons of it. And that brings us to one of the absolute greatest engineering wonders of the ancient world, the Great Dam of Marib. Constructed all the way back in the mid-7th century BC, this thing was a total triumph of human engineering over a hostile nature. It captured seasonal mountain runoff and meticulously channeled it through these highly complex irrigation systems. It literally transformed a harsh, dusty desert valley into a sprawling, emerald green oasis capable of sustaining a massive urban population. A real game changer. Section 4. The first Arabian skyscraper. As time went on, Himyarite architecture grew incredibly, ambitious. 20 stories high. Just imagine that for a second. We are talking about the early centuries of the first millennium, right? And they built the legendary castle of Gumdan in modern-day Sana'a, reaching 20 stories into the sky. It's essentially the very first skyscraper in recorded history. It was a towering, heavily fortified citadel designed to protect urban elites from raids, and honestly, a staggering display of pure royal power. The descriptions of Gumdan that ancient geographers left behind, they totally blur the line between myth and reality. They say it was built of multicolored granite, porphyry, and marble, the king's court sat on the absolute top floor, and apparently the roof was made of a single slab of stone so crystal clear you could look up and distinguish a crow from a kite flying overhead. Oh, and the craziest detail? Bronze lions positioned at each corner of the building, specifically designed so the roaring desert winds would literally make the statues howl. Talk about intimidation, right? Section 5. Fall of a Forgotten Empire. But, as we know, no monopoly lasts forever. First, the foundational economic pillar fell. In the 1st century AD, Roman and Greek sailors finally figured out the big secret of navigating the monsoon winds. They started sailing directly to India, completely bypassing the Arab middlemen. And with their trade monopoly broken, the wealth just dried up. This sudden weakness invited foreign invasions, first from the Abyssinians and later the Persians. And then came the final fatal blow, the catastrophic bursting of the Great Dam of Marib in 542 AD. Without that dam, the oasis died and the people scattered. Later Arab chroniclers really struggled to explain how such a wealthy, invincible society could just vanish. So they created this beautiful, dramatic myth. They claimed that the mighty Marib Dam wasn't destroyed by time or water, but by a single, magical rat that managed to loosen a foundational stone that 50 men couldn't budge. It's a really poetic crystallization of the truth, though, isn't it? It was the slow, unseen, underlying economic decay that truly chewed away the foundations of their society. So, it leaves us with this lingering question. How does an empire that commanded the oceans and conquered the harsh desert simply wash away into the sands of time? It's a pretty stark reminder of the fragility of civilization. The merchant kings of South Arabia built a literal paradise of wealth, engineering, and global influence. Yet today, it is a world we are only just beginning to rediscover. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. I really hope this deep dive into the source material has sparked your curiosity to learn even more about this fascinating, forgotten chapter of human history.